We are 2 months away from LeBron James' 5th ring and the GOAT debate being reignited once again. I dare the three of you on camera right now. Tell me I'm wrong, and in June, we will play this back and laugh.
I'm laughing. We're laughing right now.
I can't even wrap my head around that statement right now, man.
Just get through the intro.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
All right, there we go. This is Basketball Island. Hein, Hambone, Fab, and we are extra fired up because the playoffs are finally here.
It's true.
Finally.
It's true.
It felt like that last month. Although the last 3 days of the regular season got fun again. But man, that was a tough
Oh, dude, more than that.
The Sunday.
The whole West was just chaos for 2 weeks leading to the final day. And you got that great Warriors Clippers game too.
But now everything matters, and we love our honest actors, and that's what we're gonna get in all of these series. And okay, this is gonna be a bit of a longer pod, I'm guessing. We're gonna go through every series, and at the end, we're also gonna go over. We did this last year. We each have 5 units. We're gonna do that each round. We'll go over what our 5-unit plays are. And then we're going to track this. We have a little side bet between the 4 of us on who does the best with the unit bet. Stakes to be determined. But yeah, let's start where I just went off the top.
Well, I bet we're going to start.
And that is...
We don't have a choice, so let's just get to it.
That is the Lakers.
South Alley-oop, baby.
Yes.
Here we go.
That is the Lakers and T-Wolves.
Yeah.
You mentioned off air, a lot of times the season series doesn't necessarily matter, but we'll give the background anyway. Season series was 2-2 between these two teams. Lakers, pretty heavy favorites. A little, I don't know. I thought the juice was a little more. I thought it'd be a little closer. But let's start with you, Hambone. What are you feeling with Lakers T-Wolves?
I feel like the Lakers have the advantage for 2 reasons, and it's based purely on who the Wolves put on the floor to defend that 3-headed monster in LA. I worry about Mike Conley Jr. Defending in general. Who does he defend in that series? And you should be worrying about Rudy Gobert and who he defends. Wolves have a very, very pronounced size advantage over the Lakers, but they lack, I think, the creation the Lakers do. So Ant-Man, I think Mike Conley said this as well, Ant-Man's going to have to, think the game really, really well, because Lakers will most likely take him out of that game, of that series, as much as possible. What he does and the supporting cast, what they do, given those 4-on-3 opportunities, I think will help define the series.
I mean, I just think about it as you have 2 guys on the Lakers who are both championship level experienced now. Luka's been there last year. LeBron obviously is the guy, the finals guy. All right, no one's ever done it like him. I just think even as hungry, as hot as the Wolves got to the end of the season, I don't think you can overcome 2 players like that on one team, let alone 1. Probably would have been enough. You got 2 of them together. It's not even X's and O's. I don't think the Wolves have enough to match up when, the going gets tough, that the Lakers have these 2 guys. I think they're very hard to be able to stop no matter what you try.
Dude, they can pick and choose who they want to attack every single time down the floor. Oh, Conley's on the floor? Cool, let's get a switch. Luka now has Conley on him. Oh, Rudy's on the floor. Put him in every action.
Well, but that's the thing. Is every Rudy having flashbacks of Luka from last year?
I'm having flashbacks.
And honestly, I know we all said we might have some dart throws. This leads perfectly into what my dart throw is for this series. If Rudy Gobert gets played off the court, LeBron James to lead this series in rebounds is 16-1. Rudy is a heavy favorite. And Wes, you mentioned this when we were talking yesterday. Some of these high odd rebound bets, if a guy misses a game anyways, that can really throw things off. But Fab, can they not just play Rudy off the court, and that's how the Lakers want to play anyways?
Yeah, I mean, if we get into why I think we all kind of like the Lakers to win the series, since they got Doncic, their offense has been revolutionized. They take way more threes than they used to, just because they generate so many high quality looks, and their offensive rating since they got him would be 3rd best in the league. So, to your point, a guy like Gobert might have trouble staying on the court against when they space you out. And, we've seen what Luka can do to Gobert on a switch last playoffs. Yeah. Cue the clip, man.
Doncic has the ball, down by 2.
There's the switch.
Gobert is out there. Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it! What a shot! Dallas has taken the lead.
And I think an eye-opener for me was when I saw the Lakers against the Thunder twice at the end of the year. And the Thunder have the best defense of the league. The Lakers absolutely carved them apart like twice, and Luka got tossed in that second game. It was tied at that point, so they can get whatever they want. However, let's not sleep on the Wolves. Ant-Man, he already said, I like that everyone's picking the Lakers. I love being the underdog. They have their advantages too. They're much deeper. I think Edwards is going to be able to get to the net when he wants against this team. I mean, who's the point of resistance at the net?
My last thought on like the Gobert point is just that Lakers are super weak. Obviously, they don't have a center. Like Jackson Tate doesn't count. It really doesn't count. So I don't think the advantages Gobert gives you on the offensive end outweigh the kind of mismatch of his strengths on the defensive end for what the Lakers offense brings.
Yeah, like the Lakers could play Rui, and it's not like Gobert's like, oh, let me post up Rui, and I'm going to eat. You're not going to run your offense.
Gobert is not going to take advantage of this Lakers' lack of rim protection the way the Lakers might be able to manipulate him on the perimeter. That's my feeling.
So do we all like Lakers?
Yeah.
So I'll zag here in one way. It's that Minnesota. So Lakers are positionally big, right? They lack a center, but like
They're big
everywhere else. They're big.
Everywhere else.
It's honestly, it's very much the Raptors, like the Project 6'8". Like that's kind of what they're rolling with.
But I think what Minnesota has is like you got Naz Reid coming off the bench. We haven't even mentioned Julius Randle.
Yep.
Revenge series against the Lakers. Like they are big. Like they could, in theory, bully ball the Lakers.
For
every
sure.
game and make the series in the mud and just kind of out rebound them on the offensive glass as well. Like there is a path where I can see that happening. It's just if the game is close at the end of the game, you got Luka Doncic, you got LeBron James, and even Austin Reeves.
I agree with that. Just when it comes down to that, I trust LeBron and Luka to make decisions over Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is going to be easy series.
It's not.
This is 6 or 7 games to me.
Oh, Wolves have earned the right to be feared.
Yeah.
Just based on how they play, the type of like players they got. Like, to be frank, I think they need another perimeter player to really step up. So that's on Dante DiVincenzo, McDaniels, even Nikhil, our boy. Like, someone's going to have to step up and be able to play heavy minutes when Rudy Gobert gets played off the court, right? Like, who is that 5? I think they go 8 or 9 deep. It really depends on.
But then when you go small, you're just playing right into the Lakers' hands the way they want to be playing anyways. So you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Can Randall hang with maybe trying to guard Luka? Like, can he prevent Luka from getting to those like post-up spots?
He's going to be guarding LeBron, no? And LeBron's going to.
There's going to be a lot of interchangeability. And even McDaniels is a great defender, but he can't hang with Luka either. He's just not strong enough.
Luka and LeBron are both strong, large human beings who can manipulate a defense any way they want. It just comes down to, can Minnesota's bigs hang?
Yeah.
Can they hang? Luka sees Gobert on the floor. Whoever Gobert is guarding, switch.
Yeah.
Now, what does Chris Finch do to counter that? Very intriguing. Do they play a zone? Do they match up? I don't know. Then all of a sudden you're giving the Lakers wide open threes.
This feels like a Boston Reeves series too. Like I don't know who they're going to put on him, and like I think he's going to eat all series.
You want dart throw? Very important player for the Lakers. Dorian Finney-Smith. The only real two-way guy.
What's your dart throw? What's the throw?
For the series? No, I'm just saying in terms of like, I think that he would help the Lakers. He's going to really help the Lakers.
No, he's a very important piece for
I
them.
don't really have
He's their closing 5.
You got nothing? You don't even have a dart throw?
Do you have a dart? Do you have a dart?
No, I the only thing I'm betting on this is to go over 5.5 games.
I think we're all.
I had a world where I think you can go mini to win game 1, Lakers win the series. It pays plus 450.
There you go.
As Fab said yesterday, I've never won one of those bets, and I'm with Fab. I always lose those bets,
and it's always with Boston.
Yeah, that's all I got for a dart. Otherwise, tough to find a dart in that series.
All right, well, let's stick with LA then, and let's go to Clippers Nuggets.
My favorite series.
So, yeah, this is probably the best series. Season series tied 2-2. Key note for that: Kawhi did not play a single game in that season series.
You throw it all out, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, didn't play a single game, and now the odds on this series have completely flipped. But is this the classic? And everyone's kind of made this joke where Clippers look amazing game 1, they're a title team, and then we get the Shams report right before game 2, like knee tendonitis, Kawhi missing game 2, and
I don't want to live in that world, man. I want to live in the world where
reality?
Where we assume Kawhi is healthy for the series, and I think that's what makes this potentially the most special series we're going to win.
So I think if Kawhi's healthy. Kawhi's healthy.
I'll say this. If Kawhi's healthy, which is an if, I think it's much more likely the Clippers win this in a short series than Denver wins it in a short series. I think the Clippers, they don't get rated enough for how strong they are defensively. They were a top 3 defense this entire year. Not a lot of people have really recognized their strengths. They see James Harden, they laugh about that, and they're like, oh, how can they be good at defense? Well, they got Vita Zubac, who is a DPOY candidate this year.
He'll make all defense. I think.
And they got, Kawhi, we already all know, but then Derek Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, 2 like straight up defensive minded guys, and then they got a coach in Ty Lue who's extremely capable on that end. I just don't think a lot of people understand what their strengths are. They have enough offensive capabilities with the 2 Hall of Fame guys that they have. Their defense can smother the crap out of any opponent, and it's equipped to handle a team like Denver. So
I think Hoop Collective was given a lot of credit to Van Gundy with the defensive stuff, and like apparently he was a driving force behind that Chris Dunn deal, but he's a big part of like where that defense is coming
they're
from.
dangerous, man.
Yeah, and the Nuggets don't have a very good defense. Can they lock in and be a little bit better than their regular season indicated? They were 21st in defense. Listen, trying to pick a side here. I mean, okay, if you're subscribed to the best player theory,
Nuggets win.
then it's the Nuggets. Or do you think Kawhi can be the best player in the series?
Okay, it wouldn't shock me if Kawhi is healthy. Kawhi, he could very easily be the best player in the series.
One thing I will say, they have held Jokic to under his season averages. If you look at his numbers against the Clippers this year, they do a good job. You have a big center who can kind of stand him up, and you can kind of take away his other options. Yep. So that leads to one bet I do like, which is on my 5 units later. Is I like Harden to lead the series in assists because I don't like Denver's defense at all. And I do think the Clippers are going to make Jokic have to score more and take away his passing options.
Yeah, I would bet Jokic Godfathers every game.
Yeah,
because
they're going to need that.
Borrowing from the regular season, again, no Kawhi in those games. Clippers opted to guard Jokic one-on-one. And I think Jokic will eat here. Mm-hmm. Now, Ty Lue versus Nikola Jokic, to me, is the chess match of this series. What do? Do you let other guys try and go off? Okay, cool. Jokic, get yours. But now, Jamal Murray, we're going to smother you. We're not helping off.
I think that's what I would do. I would make Jokic have to score because you still have Zubac. Zubac isn't shutting down Jokic. Yeah. I'm not saying that, but he's big. He can kind of hold up enough.
He'll tire him out too. Like think back to that Minnesota series last year. The big body of Towns wore Jokic down by 7 games.
He needs to stay out of foul.
Have I just talked myself into the Clippers? I don't know. Maybe. Now that we're talking about it, I'm like,
my point is just like I don't think either team has a definitive advantage. I think it's like out of all 8 series we're gonna see, this is by far the most dead center one.
Until we get that report game 2 that Kawhi is.
Yeah, that would suck. Now, that would suck.
But that's the bet in this
That would
series.
suck.
Once again, over 5.5 games.
Yes.
This is my trend with the West here.
So that's my big bet as well. Over 5.5.
I got of all the dart throws. This is my favorite of the dart throws. Norm Powell to lead series in threes at plus 500. Just some numbers here. Norm averaged 4.83 made threes per game against Denver this year, most against any other opponent. He had a 37-point game against the Nuggets. Absolutely went off. And Denver, since March 1st, giving up 14.6 opponent threes per game. That's like very, very bottom of the NBA.
But you cited at the beginning of this whole thing, all 4 of those games, no Kawhi.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the the biggest change.
Norm still will get looks.
So he's got 15 points per game since Kawhi's been back.
But he's still going to get good looks even with Kawhi. And we also said, what if we don't know if Kawhi is going to be healthy for all of this?
There's your bet.
5-1.
Just to clear, NBA champion Norman Powell.
Yes.
Don't forget.
You've been there. Done that.
Y'all must have forgot.
That's with Kawhi.
Anybody got a dart throw for that series?
I mean, I don't have anything that's like worth bringing up. Yeah.
Over 5.5 games, to Fab's point. I think this series is a war of attrition. If you're betting the Clippers, you're betting on Kawhi's health. Do with that what you will. Again, I love Kawhi. I ranked him like the most important player in going to the playoffs last year. In the year before, I'll do the same thing because I've seen it up close, know what this guy's capable of at the peak of his powers. It really comes down to his health. However, I worry about the Nuggets a little bit. They don't really shoot threes. Clippers protect the paint. Now what? If Zubac is guarding Jokic one-on-one,
yeah, it's going to be tough. It's really if Denver does win this series, it's going to really come down to Jokic brilliance.
I mean, the in-game op is the moment Zoo gets 2 fouls in any game, you slap the heck out of the Nuggets because that's the one where you get them.
Yeah.
get him in foul trouble.
Jokic Godfather.
Now,
Again.
a common theme I think we all have. We both love over 5.5 in those first two series, and I think we all love it here as well. And that is Warriors Rockets season series. Warriors won 3-2. There was that extra game there because they played
In season.
In season.
The NBA Cup.
NBA Cup.
Yeah.
NBA Cup. Yeah. How dare you call it the IST?
It is
Yeah.
the IST though.
Now-
In season tournament.
But it's the NBA Cup.
Okay, whatever.
So.
Just let Hein go, man.
All right.
Well, no, Emirates paid a lot of money for us not to say in-season tournament.
Our friend.
Yeah. So, season series Warriors 3-2. This is one where we've seen the money just absolutely is starting to come down. And I know Connor, who's behind the scenes right now, we were sort of talking.
He's right there.
Are we talking ourselves into the Rockets? Because I said leading up to this the whole time, I'm like, I cannot wait to bet against the Rockets in round one. And then when I saw that price, I'm like, is there a little value on the Rockets?
I'm doing it. Warriors -1.5 series spread is another one of my big bets. I was hoping for the Warriors to lose that last game of the season against the Clippers to get this matchup because I would prefer it if you have future equity on the Warriors, which is what I do. I have them to win the West. I got Steph Curry to win Western Conference MVP. The problem I have with this matchup is Amen Thompson, Fred VanVleet, and Dylan Brooks. 3 more than capable defenders on Steph Curry. I think they're going to make Steph's life a living hell.
Well, you want some numbers?
Oh, sure.
Steph Curry versus the Rockets in the regular season. 16.3 points per game. Third worst against any opponent. 36.4% field goal percentage. 33-point percentage. So they hounded him during the regular season, and he did not play well against Houston.
It's a very interesting dynamic. So as you guys all know, I'm a Jimmy Butler stan.
No, you?
Loved what he did. Loved what he did in that playing game against the Grizzlies. I think he's capable of doing that. Warriors lineups are very, very unbalanced, right? So what the Houston's done recently is they played these 2 bigs, right? They got Şengün and Adams together while playing a little bit more of a zone. When you have Gary Payton second on the floor, Draymond Green on the floor, Jimmy Butler, I think Houston can get away with that a little bit.
A lot of non-shooters.
A lot of non-shooters.
Yeah.
So to me, Steph's gravity is going to have to really open things up for the others on the Warriors. If that means Jimmy taking his set shot threes, he's going to have to do it. Quentin Post, your boy. I think that's the major theme. It's very X's and O's based, but I'm very curious to what happens.
Udoka's smart because he often plays that double big. Like I think against the Warriors this year when Steph was out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna pack it in against you guys when Steph is out because okay, we'll take our chances with any of you other guys want to shoot threes, go for it.
And they'll win the rebounding battle.
Yeah, I mean the big thing from my research is
Why'd you quote unquote that?
No,
You did
it's
research.
real.
It's okay.
No, it's just Houston mashes you on the glass.
Yeah.
They absolutely create way more possessions for themselves. The problem is half-court offense really gets stuck in the mud, 22nd in the league. To Golden State's credit, they're very good defensively and very good defending in the half-court also. So I think they will do enough to, they can also play in the mud a little bit. And I do think they're going to pull out close games because of Steph and because of Jimmy. But I do see this series going probably 6 games. So probably in line with what you're saying. Warriors in 6 feels like.
To Fab's point, I've already bet it. I love the under in game 1, under 213.5. I'm going to bet the under probably all series. I know, Wes, you kind of stated something similar. Last 4 games between these two, 194 points per game.
Yeah.
That's not obvious. There's going to be, I adjusted the under. The lowest I think I could go was 205. If there's a market where I can find under 200 at something like 8-1, I will just sprinkle gently on that, especially game 1.
Of all 8 series, the story of this series is these are the top defenses of all 16 teams. Golden State was number 1 post All-Star break once Jimmy Butler was there. Houston's top 3. They've had a lot of injuries when a lot of their key defensive players weren't in the lineup. So this is a battle of attrition. This might, whoever comes out of this might just be wounded and dead going into round 2 because it's going to be an
Ready for
absolute
the Lakers to
dogfight.
feast.
Exactly, it really could be.
Lakers are going through a monster.
Yeah.
One kind of fun stat just before we maybe move on. Last playoffs, teams that win the rebounding battle win 77% of the time.
Wow.
That makes sense.
So if you think that, I don't know.
Yeah.
The trend could be if the Rockets do pound them on the glass, maybe they pull out more games than you think.
And listen, Udoka and Curry had a little back and forth. I think Udoka set the stage for some violence.
Oh, there's
and
dude.
physicality.
What about we got Draymond versus Brooks and Draymond versus Steven Adams. Like this thing.
I mean, this is sneakily becoming the most fun series.
Oh, no, I think we've all been on Rockets for a long time this year. I don't think the public is really aware of how dynamic of a team these guys are. They're not even getting credit for being the 2 seed. They've earned it. The way they got there, if you watch the series, they're gonna put themselves on the map after this.
And the type of guy Udoka is, that he is telling this group that they know that they're a big
No one
underdog.
believes in us.
Does anybody got a dart thrower?
I got a dart. You got a dart?
No, I just have one more thought on the series, and I'll give it to you. I think, to me, if Houston wants to win, they're gonna have to run. Golden State's gonna do whatever they can to limit them from running. And if they have to operate in the half court, to your point, I think
where you get
Houston really strong.
How conflicted are you going to be when Amon just shuts down Jimmy and you're like, you're just be sweating? Like, I don't even, he's my young prodigy against my experienced vet.
We need that split jersey down the middle, like your Amon's mom, all right? You know the.
I love Ahmed Thompson.
We know.
I love Tari Eason. I love what this team
There's
is
a lot of
capable
Sith parallels with that matchup too. Always two master and apprentice. Like
Now, let me give it one dart. One dart for this one. If you guys got one to bring it up. I like Draymond Green to lead the series in total assists. It's plus 480 on FanDuel.
Ooh, that's a nice number.
So Jimmy and Curry are shorter than him. I get why that's the case, but the reason why I like this, there's a few stats I'll just run off. Number one, in their 7 playoff runs since winning the championship, he led the team in 5 of those years in total assists. Think about the defenders we just mentioned. They're all going to be hovering on Steph and Butler. I think the key to the Warriors' offense is, can Dre get everything else in motion fast enough? We saw it in the play-in game. He had 10 dimes, and that was the role that he played in that. I think it's a very similar role that he's going to have in this Rockets game. And then the other side of it, the why I like this bet for the entire series, you would think Fred is a threat to this, but ever since he's come back and then Amon's return from injury, they've really cannibalized each other. If Amon was a 6th man, I think Fred actually has a true threat to this bet here. They are now floating around 5 dimes each. They've kind of eaten at each other. So I just think there's a world where Dre finishes at 6 to 7 dimes, and he's the leading passer in this entire.
Butler's probably his biggest competition.
Yeah, him and Curry.
Right?
I would say this is one of those, Connor, don't post this to YouTube until we all get that bet in, because Wes is moving.
Ahmed's supposed to be their point guard of the future too. So to your point, they're incentivized to give him the ball and help him create. Also, one key point here, like Jonathan Kuminga. All right, I'm not gonna be like free Jonathan.
But
Kuminga.
he had really good numbers in regular season against the Rockets, so I think he'll find his way back in the rotation.
Yeah, but Kerr just shot his confidence down.
I know. It's a little weird.
I think it's just a weird, like, if you follow Warriors Twitter, which I still do, I think the problem with Kuminga is that he wants to be Kobe and they need him to be a role player.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
Well, he's probably going to move on after this year.
Yeah.
But, like, he's someone who could 100% help.
They'll need his athleticism and size for this series.
Let's just put a bow on the West. We're all taking OKC against opponent to be determined.
Before we get to that OKC thing, I will say this, and we'll see this with my 5 units later. All 3 of those series over 5.5 games, you're getting plus 283 on FanDuel.
We have the same bet.
I love that bet. It's just all of these are. I think you could tell from our excitement. I think we're going to get great series. And yeah, Fab, you're right. What is there? You know what? We all think OKC's going to win. Let's all just move out of the way and Connor get the ISO ball, because I think Fab's got something on this MVP.
I wasn't ready
and
to
Shea.
do this yet, but
God.
I mean, can we just talk about the MVP narrative and how toxic it's been getting all week? These American publications. Okay, listen.
One in particular.
If you want to say Jokic is the MVP, I have no problem with that. He has a historic season. But can we not do this thing where Shea plays for the Harlem Globetrotters and Jokic plays for the Washington Generals? Like, I'm hearing that hypotheticals about if Jokic had OKC's supporting cast, what he would do with them. Like, that's not how it works. Shea is having the most efficient high-volume scoring season of all in the last 3 decades. So put some respect on him. He's carried a team to the 68 wins. And
68 wins!
Yeah.
And can someone please mention Chet missed 50 games? Yeah. I haven't heard that anywhere.
Where was Hartenstein for the first month of the season?
Games.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about this thing that, like, Shea is being carried by a super team, and he's just riding the coattails of it. It's like, no, he's the driving force behind the team winning 68 games.
And he's played almost every game.
Yeah.
He's everything you want from a superstar. Yet, to your point, 68 wins. No Chet for 50 of them.
16 games over second seed.
But hold on.
It's not even like, what are we doing here?
When did that change? If you look historically, winning the MVP, 90% of the MVPs, you come from a 1 or a 2 seed. When did that change, especially a historic 1 seed like OKC?
Once again, if Jokic won it, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, he's having a crazy season.
Amazing.
I'm just saying, I don't like this like narrative that Shea is being carried by a super team,
Yeah.
and Jokic is playing with absolutely nobody. There's 4/5 of a championship starting 5 on that roster still. So come on, let's call it for what it is here.
All right.
Anyways,
so
All right, we've said our piece.
Let's move
insane,
to the
man.
East, and honestly, where do you guys want to
Knicks,
start?
let's start with
these?
Knicks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Knicks Pistons. Pistons won the season series 3-1. Jalen Brunson played all 4 of those games. So seeing that kind of jumped out at me. I went through each game and I'm like, this is pretty much the Knicks.
Kind of odd, right?
Yeah, and the Knicks had all their dudes in all those games. So like, it kind of made me think a little bit longer about this series because initially I'm just like, yeah, Knicks are gonna.
I'm not the biggest believer in the Knicks, but in this series, on my 5 units, I do have them to win by -1.5. So I think they win in 5 or 6 games. Listen, if the Knicks can't dispose of this Pistons team in round 1 in less than 7 games, New York fans, go start watching Yankee games, dive into the NFL draft a little bit. Just pack it up. No disrespect to the
But the
Pistons.
Mets.
How about the Liberty?
Yeah, no love for the Mets.
New York's a big city. You have lots of. You don't even have to watch sports. You can start go to the Broadway, do something else.
Comedy sellers.
Museum of Natural History, a good time. Yeah, well, so we had a lovely time at the Comedy
Top of the
Cellar.
rock.
Lots of
Top of
stuff
the
to do. No, I mean, realistically, Pistons are cool. They're a very fun, scrappy team. They're leaning into the bad boy stuff. They have very, very little playoff experience. Cade's had an awesome season, but I don't like anyone else as a secondary creator for them. I don't think they have the firepower to keep up with New York. I think they'll scrap out a win or 2, but I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if New York can't dispose of Detroit, there's big issues.
Cade torched them in the regular season too. He had a couple I think 2 36-point games
Yeah.
against the Knicks. So
Cade's been good.
he's the favorite to lead the series in scoring. I think it was even money.
So, Cade's usage is going to be out of control this series. If I'm betting game to game,
Godfathers all day.
and I'm betting his turnovers over. I
There's
think
a lot. There's going to be a lot of
he's
them, yeah.
going to be sloppy. And, like, I'm sorry, but you got Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. Like, you're going to have dudes, Josh Hart, who I think are going to give Cade hell in this series. And to your point, like, they don't have a secondary option. Like, Tobias Harris.
Malik I mean,
Look at
like,
that.
seriously,
Threes.
who's going to be a
It's-
consistent second
It's got to
option
be
for
Malik
them?
Beasley if they're gonna have any
I know,
shot.
but okay,
I
They
know.
bomb threes. They bomb threes.
So I think Cade's gonna be a heavy usage guy. I think he's going to struggle against the New York's perimeter defense.
I like that bet.
And Karl Anthony Towns' problems defensively, I don't think arise in this series. I think they come later.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, because he's been rebounding well, and that's the whole thing. What Jalen Duren's strength is for that team, like they each are actually very effective at crashing the glass, so they kind of neutralize each other a little bit there. I think Cat's offense is going to give Duren a lot of problems.
Sure.
In terms of his ability to make him work all around the court. That's going to be an issue. But again, I don't have much to add to this. I think a reminder is Detroit was a 14-win dead last team last year.
Yeah.
I know they're
Great
obviously
story.
This is their championship has already happened.
Yeah.
I do have one dart throw. I have Mikal Bridges to lead the series in threes, which is 11-1. And I looked at the matchup, all 4 matchup this year. He was basically on par with everyone else. He's slightly below Beasley, and even with Cade, even with Brunson. So, I mean, I just think he might have the volume, especially if Detroit is trying to sell out on Brunson. That creates openings. I think he takes more threes than Cat. I mean, 11-1.
Yeah, just
Right.
to add to this,
Yeah.
so the way this market is set up, it's Beasley on his own on an island, and then like 4 or 5 guys who are kind of in this like chase pack. And I get your thinking with this bet. If they can neutralize the offense, the way it's being run by Detroit right now, which is just like get Beasley, get Tim Hardaway Jr., all these open looks. If they can make them play a different way, which New York is capable of doing, then yeah, I think this bet is absolutely
Yeah, and I
live.
do think playoffs is where you start to see guys get run off the line a little bit more. So I don't know if they're going to have Beasley's going to have those opportunities, right? They're going to force him put the ball on the floor a little bit, right?
To make decisions
Yeah.
off the catch, and I don't think he's going to thrive.
I think that's another Connor don't post. I'm gonna 11-1 and jump on that.
Isaiah Stewart, how many games did you get ejected from?
I mean, I'm taking
If the line's
gave me
0.5, I'm hammering the
if
over.
you get, I might even hammer 1.5. I mean,
Man, go. Give us a market.
okay, when the juices are flowing in the garden, you don't think he's going to be freaking
well,
like
so
Ron Holland to throw hands minus
dude,
110.
just think of what the Street Talk New York video will be in the game where those guys get tossed after. One other, not even really a dart throw, not as big as yours, Fab, but exact score Knicks to win this series 4-2 plus 330. I kind of like that just because the Pistons had that regular season success, and I think them winning a game or two is enough to build on for next year. Okay. What I thought would be polarizing, but now seems like 3/4 of it don't think so. Bucks Pacers.
Yeah.
Bucks won the season series 3-1. Tyrese Halliburton was very bad against Milwaukee all regular season, averaged 17 points per game, 41.8 field goal percentage, 32.1 from 3. He did not play good against Milwaukee all year.
He played good.
And we have a good number right now. Milwaukee plus 180. Three of us have it as our 5 units.
Fab got start on this for
no,
sure.
no, I'm sitting this series out. I have nothing on this. So you guys tell me.
I was on when I
Hey, hold on.
when I promoted I promoted the Bucks on this very pod. What,
To win the East.
What are you taking
To
a
win the
victory
East.
lap? The
Hold on,
series
hold on.
hasn't even started.
Hold on. And then Damian Lillard got obviously. Hopefully get well soon. Maybe
Well,
he
sorry,
makes
we know it's all the reporting saying he will not be in this series. That is what the reporting is telling
early
us.
playoffs. I
Yes.
believe he will miss it. Who guards Giannis? If you're the Pacers, like who is the candidate for
It's
that?
Siakam.
I think it's more of a team concept
But if you're
than
talking
one
about
guy,
a
right?
Singular, it's Siakam.
We all heard what's the favorite Stan Van Gundy quote. You build a wall. That's what
true.
you do.
Okay. Build a
That's
wall.
how you try to stop.
build a wall.
I don't
Sound
think
that up, Connor.
Nobody can do anything but tip them. We just form a wall.
I don't think it's enough. That's how good Giannis is playing right now. So Siakam, okay, good try. Gets 2 fouls. All of a sudden you lose Siakam. Miles Turner, good try again. What, you're going to play Jarris Walker? Like after that, it gets very, very thin for Indy.
You got Neesmith.
Neesmith.
I mean, I'm not saying one-on-one. I'm just saying like you have bodies you can kind of like pack it in on.
If I could, and you made this comment earlier offline, but like I would bet Giannis to lead the series in points, rebounds, and
all
You
of it.
knew it. That's what I said. I'm like, FanDuel, why don't you let me do this? And you just said Giannis question
I
mark.
looked
Like,
at
of
it.
course, yeah.
I looked at it. I just think to me, like I know it's a tough theory to describe to, right? Like the best player in the series, they should win the series, right? I don't really subscribe to that in this case because Milwaukee's depth is really poor. I just think Giannis's end of season tear has been underrated somehow, and I just don't know if Indy has the weapons defensively to counteract what he can do. And if you got 3-point shooters, if those guys are hitting threes, like Bobby Portis is alive, he's back. I think he gives them problems as well.
That's a big act.
So
It really
Big
is,
ad.
man.
That's
He's
what
a
I had written.
professional. He's a guy who can score, and he's a mental giant.
2 notes on that. One, it's the price too. Plus 180.
180.
I like that
Come on,
price.
man.
But to your point, and this is my dart throw. Don't Fab, just relax. Gary Trent Jr. to lead this series in threes is 6
he
to
has
1.
it too.
You have it 2 6 to 1. Okay.
I wrote it
Here we
down.
go.
I wrote it down.
Bucks
Hold
guard
on.
Giannis.
He's got
Everyone's lost their goddamn mind.
Gary Trent Jr.
This is killing
4 threes per game against the Pacers this season. That was tied for his most against any opponent. And I already mentioned the Halliburton struggles. Gary Trent Jr. 6 to 1. Wes, I love it.
Let me add. Okay, Gary Trent Jr. 3.13 since Lillard's injury. Hallie's actually had the same amount of 3-pointers post All-Star break. So my point being is that if I feel like I like the Bucks to win the series, which is how I'm betting it, if they're the same number of threes made per game, but one guy's priced at minus, one guy's priced at plus 600, I'll take
Thank
the
you.
plus 600.
And
Why not?
Only 2.3 made threes per game against them in the regular season.
In my note here as well.
If I'm gonna
If
if I'm gonna push back on Milwaukee and Indy, so if you say you're drafting best players in the series, does Indy have 2 through 6?
Yeah, but when one is so
I'm just
good,
saying, okay, so he's beating.
Assuming Lillard's out.
Okay, let's assume Lillard's out.
Okay.
Like, I just think Indy might have 5 of the best 6 or
Not
7
a,
players
not
in
a
the
believer
series.
in Kyle Kuzma. Jeez.
Yeah, of course I'm not. Of course I'm not.
I think to me, you got Kuzma in there. You got
He sucks.
He does.
Kuzma sucks.
Brooke Lopez.
I'm not buying
Brooke Lopez is in there.
I'll
I think
give
it's
you
an
Brooke.
argument.
I'll give you Brooke.
I think it's an argument. Bobby
Once
Portis,
again-
a rejuvenated,
once again,
fresh off his suspension. Bobby Portis.
I got you. Portis is scrappy. I got no skin in this game, but you know what? You guys are
Championship pedigree.
Hey, Wes, call me with some tickets. I'm coming to Indy, baby. I'm coming to Indy let's roll, man.
Oh yeah, sorry, Wes.
all day, baby. All right.
I think it's value plus 180.
Plus
That's what
180 is one of my
I
bets.
get what you guys are saying. The plus money, best, top 3 player in the league. I understand.
mixed in with a little Gary Trent 6-1.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
These
we're
games are
laughing.
going to be the most fun.
Hey,
Yeah.
Just because of your Trent bets.
Not me. I can't do it.
I look forward to the lobster after Gary Trent leads away. Okay, now
Celtics Magic.
Celtics Magic. Yeah.
I mean,
And here's
all right.
another weird one, but this is where the regular season you can throw. Magic won the season series 2-1. April game. Look at the guys Boston played in that. Literally just like a scrap heap. Tatum missed the other Magic win as well, so I don't think you can put anything in. This feels like a gentleman's sweep to me. Boston's going to play with their food one game.
Sure.
I can
and-
see that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the series spread. The series spread list on FanDuel is -3.5.
Yeah.
That's one of my.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bets is plus 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
on the
I'm
Magic
with you.
side.
I'm
That's
there.
I
I'm
have
there.
that parlayed with Nuggets Clippers over 5.5 games as one of my best bets. I think the Magic have a lot of positional size. I think they can eke out at least one win in this series. I know their offense is anemic. I know our boy Corey Joseph is starting for them. I know they can't shoot. I wish Jalen Suggs was playing in this game.
He would make a big difference.
Yeah,
He
I
really
would.
Yeah.
I wish. Shout out Haley Van Lith too, drafted by Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
I think Orlando ekes one out because of their defense. Because I'm a little worried about Jaylen Brown's health. I know
Big
they're
factor.
kind of downplaying this a
Yeah,
little bit.
he's had a down year, and he's probably banged up.
A little banged up. I mean, Porzingis expected to play. I know they got Derek White. I know they got Drew Holiday.
But it's not.
Celtics
You and
are
Fab say this all the time. The Celtics play with their food.
play with their food.
They're like,
That's part of it.
I think Orlando gets a game.
yeah. So
that's
honestly,
the bet.
So
that's
now,
just who Orlando. That's what the Boston does.
this is
that is
another great market FanDuel has. Shout out FanDuel with all their lovely playoff markets. Celtics take game 1, 2, 3. Magic win game 4. Celtics game 5 plus 680. The true gentleman sweep.
Yeah.
That is how I see this series going.
Well, you know-
losing at home.
I mean, look, my point on this is like Orlando's defense, which is getting underrated. Without Jalen Suggs, obviously it's tough. But the one thing, the specifics of how they play is they don't give any threes. They are top 3, I think top 2 in the NBA in terms of taking away the 3-point line. So that matches up with what Boston's entire game plan is. So does Boston have what it takes to do something different if they're getting chased off the line every time? I like Paolo and Franz in terms of size, being able to size up against the main 2 guys on Boston. So I think there's a world where one game, when the Celtics shots are just not falling, which is the variance that comes with the 3-pointer, do they have what it takes to eke out a really ugly win? And I think Orlando can get them in one game like that. So I just think the strengths of Orlando on the defensive end, they match up with what Boston's strengths are offensively.
Orlando needs to play in the mud. If I'm Jamal Mosley, anytime you see Peyton Pritchard on the floor, even Derek White, Drew, you're trying to get that switch and Paulo initiate offense on smaller guys. Post his ass up. Use your size to score over the top.
But honestly, man,
Play this game in the mud.
Derek White even when he's
He can
giving up
block
a size
shots.
advantage, he's a really good post defender.
That just speaks to Boston's just unbelievable defensive versatility. But to me, Franz and Paulo leverage their size.
I think to Wes's point, Orlando gets the game because variance, because of all the threes Boston shoots. One game, that's just the math isn't going to math.
Yeah, I think all we're talking about here is can Orlando get a game. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the bet.
I think they can.
I think they can
as well. But
they can.
I do want to point out the bigger picture. Like Kristaps Porzingis is not a given to stay healthy throughout the playoffs at all.
Fair
Like,
point.
how many games did he miss last year? Luckily for them, they kind of had a gold path where they didn't need him as much. But I don't know. Like, you have to treat him almost like a Kawhi at this point, where like he could go down at any point. If he's kind of out or banged up. Brown is banged up. Be a lot of emphasis on Tatum to really
But they
carry
do.
them.
They have like the way Horford's playing. Like you're
I know. I'm
you
just
can
saying you start
survive.
chipping away a
Yes,
little bit, right?
exactly.
You take one guy out, one guy's hampered. It's just not. It's not as clear cut. But
Anybody got a
Yeah,
dart
the
throw?
ones are. I'll leave for you. Look, if you think this is a full runaway for Boston, which very well could be, I think it'll be clearly a Celtics player leading in threes. Peyton Pritchard, 10-1.
Oh,
to lead
wow.
in 3-pointers.
Connor, hold off.
10 to 1.
Get the bets in.
10-1. And all I'm saying is, look, Tatum attempts 10 a night, White 10 a night.
Oh, I like
Pritchard's at 8.5. So if this is the type of series where you think they're really killing the Magic, which is possible, it could be a
if they're
sweep.
blowouts,
Hold
too,
on,
right?
In a series where it's like a 4-game, like in 4 games, a lot of like the kind of scrappier, longer shot guys can just one good game and it might carry them to this win. So I'm just saying.
I got a question though. Who's gonna sponsor the pod when FanDuel doesn't exist? When we take all their money from these dart
Sorry,
throws?
guys.
Like-
boom, boom.
Hey man, it's all fair. It's all fair.
I have a bet this series, one of my best bets as well. Jason Tatum to lead the series in rebounds. If you assume
What is that? What's that number?
plus 145
Nice.
at this juncture. It's obviously he's the favorite to lead the series in rebounds. If you assume Orlando's gonna miss shots, Jason Tatum is I think he averaged almost double-digit rebounds.
Yeah, he's right at
last
10.
playoff.
Yeah, he's very close.
And like end this season, I think to me, if Porzingis also misses a game,
Yeah.
I think that helps in that case as well. I think Tatum just around the net. I think he's gonna guard.
He also plays every game. Like that's a
Plays every
key
game.
for these series bets when it's totals.
Jalen's a little bit hurt. If Porzingis, doesn't play fully, doesn't play many minutes, Jason Tatum will play 35 plus, will guard Paolo, will be near the rim, and he's just a rebound magnet. So I like that as value.
All right, well, so I normally like with Cleveland, I would think like we can just yada yada this, but did we see enough from the Heat? And we don't even know that the Heat are
Stop.
even in this
Just
game
stop.
yet.
Just stop.
I like the Heat.
Hey man, take it.
Okay,
Tyler Hero's jersey is hanging above you, Fab. After what we just saw,
Hey, man.
I think the Heat could take a game or two if they're even
Yeah.
there. I think they could
Sure,
take a game
yeah,
or two
sure.
from Cleveland.
We'll see what the Heat aren't even locked in though.
No,
Right?
They gotta-
why,
they gotta
are we,
be-
why are we assuming the Heat are going to even be in the
well,
series?
I think they're gonna beat.
I like the
they're
Heat
gonna
over
beat
the Hawks. If you
Yeah.
if
Really?
this
I
game
don't know.
watch.
Yeah.
That's my bet.
I'm just saying, Hawks. What was the season series between them? I think Trey had a nice year against Miami.
Well, I'll say this
Heat
about
culture.
betting. Yeah, I'll say this about betting.
yeah.
Boston, I guarantee, is going to have at minus 7,000 shorter odds to win their series than Cleveland will.
Yeah.
Whoever the opponent is.
Yeah, I think Cleveland could definitely give a game or two away. We'll see who they play
I
though.
think Cleveland will
Only
win the
minus
series.
7,000.
But I
But
think
I will be prepared to fade those dudes.
yeah, Miami's gonna make them sweat.
Second
We're
round
on.
and
I think
above.
me and you are aligned that we're anti-Cleveland.
We'll cross that bridge.
Let's get to the 5 units. Fab, let's start with you.
Oh, go ahead. Let me pull these up. If someone else wants to jump in.
Hambone, you want it?
I got it. Let's do it. Orlando Magic plus 3.5 series spread. So again, just take one game away from Boston. Parlayed with Clippers Nuggets over 5.5 games. I got 2 units on that. It's plus 160. Golden State Warriors minus 1.5 series spread. Got a unit on that. I think Houston will be grimy. I just think near the end of those games, the Warriors will pull away. They just have the alphas required to do so. Milwaukee Bucks. Our Bucks fear the deer to win the series. 1 unit at plus 180. Jason Tatum, most rebounds in the Celtics Magic series. 1 unit plus 150.
Honestly, of those that stand out to me, I'm already on Bucks, but I like that Warriors minus 1.5. I think that's a good number. Wes, what do you got?
Cool. If you're on YouTube, you'll see it pop up here. We're in alignment. So Denver Clippers to go over 5.5 games, 2 units on that. Bucks to win the series, 1.5 units. Magic to get a game. I have a unit and a quarter on that. And then I put Draymond Green, a quarter unit on that. Plus 480 to finish with most assists.
I've got Knicks minus 1.5 series spread, 2 units. I have all the series in the West we know of right now to go over 5.5 games.
Yeah.
Parlayed plus 283. That's for 2 units. I have James Harden to lead the series in assists for 3/4 of a unit and a quarter unit. Mikal Bridges most threes, and that's plus 1,100.
I'm gonna the Bridges one. Yeah, I love some of those darts. Okay, I have just like Fab. All 3 West series that we know, 2 over 5.5 games, 2 units at plus 283. LeBron James to lead series in rebounds, half unit, 16-1. Whew. Norm Powell to lead series in threes made, half unit, 5-1. And then Bucks to win series plus 180. Celtics to win series 4-1, 1 unit at plus 168. So we're aligned.
You
With,
just road bet.
If you get
I'm right this stuff.
I just seeing that number and it's Honestly,
Poor FanDuel. They don't know what
All
to
right,
do.
Yeah, seriously, poor FanDuel. We are like, I don't know.
By the way, commenters, if you're there, if you're still at this point in the pod, let us know in the comments. Loser of this challenge that we have going together, tell us what you think the punishment.
Oh God, yeah.
Don't
don't
Tell
do
us what the
that.
punishment should be for those who finishes in
God.
the bottom.
Okay.
I know
Let
what
us
one
know.
commenter might have for Hambone.
Yeah. Okay. So let us know, please. Get creative. We're listening. We're listening.
There's some sickos out there, man. I don't know if you want to
And yeah, we will. We'll see you next week when we've actually got playoff games to talk
wait.
about.
Can't
Can't wait. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.
playoffs.